back for some more creepypastas. So today we're going to be reading Psychosis. So this one is a pretty long one, so bear with me if I read too fast or if I stumble over my words. My brain processes faster than what my mouth can say. But yeah, let's just get right into it. I'm not sure why I'm writing this down on paper and not on my computer. I guess I've just noticed some odd things. It's not that I don't trust the computer, I just need to organize my thoughts. I need to get down all the details somewhere objective. Somewhere I know that what I write can't be deleted or changed. Not that that's happened. It's just everything blurs together here, and the fog of the memory lends to a strange cast of things. I'm starting to feel cramped in a small apartment. Maybe that's the problem. I just had to go and choose the cheapest apartment, the only one in the basement. The lack of windows down here makes day and night seem to slip by seamlessly. I haven't been out in a few days because I've been working on this programming project so intensively. I suppose I just want to get it done. Hours of sitting and staring at the monitor can make anyone feel strange. I know, but I don't think that's it. I'm not sure when I first started to feel like something was odd. I can't even define what that is. Maybe I just haven't talked to anyone in a while, and that's the first thing that crept up on me. Everyone I normally talk to online while I program has been idle or simply not logged on at all. My instant messages go unanswered, and the last email I got from anyone was a friend saying he'd talk to me when he got back from the store, and that was yesterday. I'd called my cell phone, but the reception's terrible down here. And yeah, that's it. I just need to call someone. I'm gonna go outside. Well, that didn't work so well. As a tingle of fear fades, I'm feeling a little ridiculous for being scared at all. I looked in the mirror before I went out, but I didn't shave the 2-day stubble I've grown. I figured I was just going out for a quick cell phone call. I did change my shirt though because it was lunchtime and I guessed I'd run into at least one person I knew. That didn't end up happening, but I wish it did. When I went out, I opened the door to my small apartment slowly. A small feeling of apprehension had somehow already lodged itself in me, for some undeniable reason. I chalked it up to not having spoken to anyone for a day or two, and I peered down the dingy gray hallway, made dingier by the fact that it was a basement hallway. On one end, a large metal door led to the building's furnace room. It was locked, of course. 2 Drury soda machines stood by it. I bought a soda from one the first day I moved in, but it had a 2-year older expiration date. I fairly sure nobody knows those machines are even down here, or my cheap landlady doesn't care to get them restocked. I closed my door softly and walked in the other direction, taking care not to make a sound. I have no idea why I chose to do that, but it was fun to given into the strange impulse not to break the droning hum of the soda machines, at least for the moment. I got to the stairwell and took the stairs up to the building's front door. I looked through the heavy door's small square window and received quite the shock. It was definitely not lunchtime. City gloom hung over the dark street outside, and the traffic lights at the intersection in the distance blinked yellow. Dim clouds, purple and black from the glow of the city, hung overhead. Nothing moved, and save the few sidewalk trees that shifted in the wind. I remember shivering, though I wasn't cold. Maybe it was the wind outside. I could vaguely hear it, though, through the heavy metal door, and I knew it was a unique kind of late-night wind. The kind that was constant, cold, and quiet, save for the rhythmic music that made it pass through countless unseen tree leaves. I decided not to go outside. Instead, I lifted myself onto the door's little window and checked for the signal meter. The bars filled up the meter and I smiled. Time to hear someone else's voice, I remember thinking, relieved. It was such a strange thing to be afraid of nothing. I shook my head, laughing to myself silently. I hit the speed dial for my best friend Amy's number and held the phone up to my ear. It rang once, but then it stopped. Nothing happened. I listened to the silence for a good 20 seconds and hung up. I frowned and looked at the signal meter again, still full. I went to dial her number again, but then my phone rang in my hand, startling me, and I put it up to my ear. Hello? I asked, immediately fighting down the small shock of hearing the first voice in days, even if it was my own. I'd gotten used to the droning hum of the building's inner workings, my computer, and the soda machines in the hallway. There was still no response to my greeting at first, but then finally a voice came. Hey, said a clear male voice, obviously a college age like me. Who's this? John? I replied, confused. Oh, sorry, wrong number, he replied, then hung up. I lowered the phone slowly and leaned against the brick wall of the stairwell. That was strange. I looked at the received calls list, but the number was unfamiliar. Before I could think of it further, the phone rang loudly, shocking me yet again. This time, I looked at the seller before I answered. It was another unfamiliar number, but this time I held the phone up to my ear but said nothing. I heard nothing in the general background noise of the phone, but then a familiar voice broke my tension. John? Was a single word in Amy's voice. I breathed a sigh in relief. Hey, it's you. Who else would it be? She responded. Oh, the number. I'm at a party on 7th Street. My phone just died just as you called me. This is someone else's phone, obviously. Oh, okay, I said. Where are you? She asked. My eyes glanced over the drab whitewashed cinder block walls and the heavy metal door with its small window. At my building, I sighed. Just cooped up and didn't realize it was so late. You should come here, she said, laughing. Nah, I don't feel like looking for some strange place by myself in the middle of the night, I said, looking out the window at the silent, windy street that secretly scared me just a tiny bit. I think I'm just gonna keep working or go to bed. Nonsense, she replied. I can come get you. Your building is close to 7th Street, right? How drunk are you? I asked heartily. You know where I live. Oh, of course, she said abruptly. I guess I can't get there by walking, huh? You could if you wanted to waste half an hour, I told her. Right, she said. Okay, have to go. Good luck with your work. I lowered the phone once more, looking at the numbers flash as the call ended. Then the droning silence suddenly resorted itself in my ears. The two straight calls in the eerie street outside just drove home my aloneness in this empty stairwell. Perhaps from seeing too many scary movies, I had a sudden, inexplicable idea that something could look in the door's window and see me. Some sort of horrible entity that hovered at the edge of the loneliness, just waiting to creep on unexpecting people that stayed too far from other human beings. I knew the fear was irrational, but nobody else was around, so I jumped down the stairs and ran down the hallway into my room, and closed the door as swiftly as I could while still staying silent. Like I said, I feel a little bit ridiculous for being scared of nothing, and the fear has already faded. Writing this down helps a lot, and it makes me realize that nothing is wrong. It filters out half-formed thoughts and fears and leaves only cold, hard facts. It was late, I got a call from a wrong number, and Amy's phone died, so she called me back from another phone. Nothing strange is happening. Still, there was something a little off about that conversation. I know it could have just been the alcohol she had, or was it even her that seemed off to me? Or was it? Yes, that was it. I didn't realize until this moment that I knew writing these down would be a help. She said she was at a party, but I only heard silence in the background. Of course, it doesn't mean anything in particular, as she could just gone outside to make the call. No, that couldn't be it either. I didn't hear the wind. I need to see if the wind is still blowing. Monday, I forgot to finish writing last night. I'm not sure what I expected to see when I ran up the stairwell and looked out at the heavy metal door's window. I'm feeling ridiculous. Last night's fear seemed hazy and unreasonable to me now. I can't wait to go out into the sunlight. I'm going to check my email, shave, shower, and finally get out of here. Wait, I think I heard something. It was thunder. The whole sunlight and fresh air thing didn't happen, and I went out into the stairwell and up the stairs only to find disappointment. The heavy metal door's window showed only flowing water as torrential rain slammed against it. Only a very dim, gloomy light filtered through the rain, but at least I knew it was daytime, even if it was a gray, sickly, wet day. I tried looking out the window, waiting for the lightning to illuminate the gloom, but the rain was too heavy, and I couldn't make out anything more than vague, weird shapes moving at odd angles in the waves washing down the window. Disappointed, I turned around, but I didn't go back to my room. Instead, I wandered further upstairs, past the first floor and on the second. The stairs ended at the third floor, the highest floor in the building. I looked through the glass that ran up the outer wall of the stairwell, but it was that warped, thick kind that scourges the light. Not that there was much to see through the rain to begin with. I opened the stairwell door and wandered down the hallway. The 10 or so thick wooden doors, painted blue a long time ago, were all closed. I listened as I walked, but it was the middle of the day, so I wasn't surprised that I heard nothing but the rain outside. As I stood there in the dim hallway listening to the rain, I had a strange fleeting impression the doors were standing like silent granite monoliths erected by some ancient forgotten civilization for some unfathomable guardian purpose. Lightning flashed, and I could have sworn that for a moment the old grainy blue wood looked like just rough stone. I laughed at myself for letting my imagination get the best of me, but then it occurred to me that in the dim, gloomy, and lightning must mean there was a window somewhere in the hallway. A vague memory surfaced, and I recalled the third floor having a clove and the insert window halfway down the floor's hallway. Excited to look out into the rain and possibly see another human being, I quickly walked over to the clove, finding a large thin glass window. Rain washed down as with the front door's window, but I could open this one. I reached a hand out to the side to open, but hesitated. I had a strangest feeling that if I opened the window, I would see something absolutely horrifying on the other side. Everything's been so odd lately. So, I came up with a plan, and I came back here to get what I needed. I don't seriously think anything will come of it, but I'm bored. It's raining, and I'm going stir crazy. I came back to get my webcam. The cord isn't long enough to reach the third floor by any means, so instead I'm going to hide it between the two soda machines in the dark end of the basement hallway. Run a wire along the wall and under my door, and put black tape over the wire to with the blend it with the black plastic strip that runs along the base of the hallway walls. I know this is silly, but I don't have anything better to do. Well, nothing happened. I propped open the hallway to stairwell door and steeled myself, then flung the heavy door wide open and ran like hell down the stairs to my room and slammed the door. I watched the webcam on my computer intently, seeing the hallway outside my door and most of the stairwell. I'm watching it right now, and I don't see anything interesting. Just wish the camera's position was different so that I could see out the front door. Hey, someone's online. I got out an older, less functional webcam that I had hid in my closet to video chat with my friend online. I couldn't really explain to him why I wanted to video chat, but it felt good to see another person's face. He couldn't talk for very long, and we didn't talk about anything meaningful, but I felt much better. My strange fear had almost passed. I feel completely better, but there was something odd about our conversation. I know that I've said everything had seemed odd, but still, he was very vague in his responses. I can't recall one specific thing he had said, no particular name, place, or event, but he did ask for an email address to keep in touch. Wait, I just got an email. I'm about to go out. I just got an email from Amy that she asked me to meet her for dinner at the place we usually go. I do love pizza, and I've been eating random food from my poorly stocked fridge for days, so I can't wait. Again, I feel ridiculous about the odd couple of days I've been having. I should destroy this journal when I get back. Oh, another email. Oh my god, I almost left the email and opened the door. I almost opened the door. But I read the email first. It was from a friend I hadn't heard from in a long time. And it was sent to a huge number of emails that must have been every person he had saved in his address list. It had no subject. And it simply said, "Seen with your own eyes, don't trust them. Don't trust them, they." What the hell is that supposed to mean? The words shocked me, and I kept going over and over them. Is it a desperate email sent just as something happened? The words are obviously cut off without finishing. On another day, I would have dismissed this as a spam from a computer virus or something, but the words, "seen with our own eyes?" I can't help but read over this journal and think back to the last few days and realize I have not seen another person with my own eyes or talked to another person face to face. The webcam conversation with my friend was so strange, so vague, so eerie now that I think about it. Was it eerie, or was it the fear clouding my memory? My mind toys with the progression of the events I've written here, pointing out that I have not been presented with one single fact that I did not specifically give out unexpectedly. The random wrong number that got my name and subsequent strange return call from Amy, and the friend that asked for the email address. I mentioned him first when I saw him online, and then I got the first email a few minutes later after that conversation. Oh my god, that phone call with Amy I said over the phone. I said that I was within half an hour's walk of 7th Street. They know I'm near there. What if they're trying to find me? Where is everyone else? Why haven't I seen or heard from anyone in days? No. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. I need to calm down. This madness needs to end. I don't know what to think. I ran about my apartment furiously holding the cell phone up to every corner to see if I got a signal through the heavy walls. Finally, in the tiny bathroom near one ceiling corner, I got a single bar. Holding my phone there, I sent a text message to every number on my list. Not wanting to betray anything about my unfounded fears, I simply replied, "You seen anyone face to face lately?" At that point, I just wanted a reply back. I didn't care what the reply was or if I embarrassed myself. I tried to call someone a few times, but I couldn't get my head high enough, and if I brought my cell phone down even an inch, it lost signal. I remembered the computer and rushed over to it and instant messaging everyone online. Most were idle or away from their computer, and nobody responded. My messages grew more frantic as I started telling people where I was to stop by in person of for a host or barely possible reasons. I didn't care about anything by that point. I just needed to see another person. I also tore apart my apartment looking for something that I might have missed, some way to contact another human being without opening the door. I know it's crazy, I know it's unfounded, but what if? What if? I just needed to be sure. I taped the phone to the ceiling in case. Tuesday. The phone rang. Exhausted from last night's rampage, I must have fallen asleep. I woke up to the phone ringing and ran to the bathroom and stood on the toilet, flipped open the phone taped to the ceiling. It was Amy, and I feel so much better. She's really worried about me and apparently has been trying to contact me since the last time I talked to her. She's coming over now, and yes, she knows where I am without me telling her. I feel so embarrassed. I'm definitely throwing this journal away before anyone sees it. I don't even know why I'm writing in it now, but it's just because it's the only communication I've had since, well, God knows when. I look like hell, too. I looked in the mirror before I came back in here. My eyes are sunken, my stubble is thicker, and I just look generally unhealthy. My apartment is trashed, but I'm not going to clean it up. I need someone else to see what I've been through. These past couple of days have not been normal, and I'm not one to imagine things. I know I've been another victim of extreme probability. I probably missed seeing another person a dozen times. I just happened to go out when it was late at night or in the middle of the day when everyone was gone. Everything's perfectly fine, I know this. Plus, I found something in the closet last night that helped me tremendously. A television. I set it up just before I wrote this and it's all in the background. Television has always been an escape for me and reminds me that there's a world beyond these dingy brick walls. I'm glad Amy's the only one that responded to me after last night's frantic pestering of everyone I could contact. She's been my best friend for years. She doesn't know it, but I count the days that I met her among one of the few moments of true happiness in my life. I remember that warm, sunny day fondly. It seems a different reality from this dark, rainy, lonely place. I feel like I spent days sitting in that playground, much too old to play, just talking with her and hanging around, doing nothing at all. I still feel like I can go back to the moments sometimes. It reminds me that this damn place is not all that there is. Finally, a knock on the door. Thought it was odd that I couldn't see her through the camera I hid between the two soda machines. I figured it was just bad positioning, like when I couldn't see out the front door. I should have known. I should have known. After the knock, I yelled through the door jokingly that I had a camera between the soda machines, because after I had embarrassed myself that I had taken this paranoia so far. After I did that, I saw her image walk over to the camera and look down at it. She smiled and waved. Hey, she said to the camera brightly and giving it a wary look. It's weird, I know. I've had a weird few days. Must have, she said. Just open the door, John. I hesitated. How could I be sure? Hey, humor me for a second here, I told her to the mic. Tell me one thing about us, just to prove to me you're you. She gave the camera a weary look. Alright, she said, slowly thinking. We met randomly at a playground when we were both way too old to be there. I sighed deeply as reality returned and the fear faded. God, I had been so ridiculous. Of course it's Amy. That day wasn't anywhere in the world except in my memory. I had never even mentioned to anyone, not out of embarrassment, but out of strange secret nostalgia for the longing of those days to return. If there was some unknown force at work trying to trick me as I feared, there was no way they could have known about that day. Alright, I'll explain everything, I told her. Be right there. I ran to the small bathroom and fixed my hair the best I could. I looked like hell, but she would understand. Snickering at my own unbelievable behavior and the mess I've made of this place, I walked to the door. I put my hand on the doorknob and gave the mess one last look. So ridiculous, I thought. My eyes traced over the half-eaten food lying on the ground and the overflowing trash bin and the bed I tipped to the side looking for God knows what. I almost turned the door and opened it, but my eyes fell on one last thing. The old web camera. The one I used for that eerie vacant chat with my friend. Its silent black sphere laid haphazardly tossed to the side, and its lens pointed at the table where the journal lay. An overwhelming terror took me as I realized if something could see through the camera, it would have been seen that I just wrote about that day. I asked her for any one thing about us, and she chose the only thing in the world I that I thought they or did not know. But it did. It did know. It could have been watching me now the whole time. I didn't open the door. I screamed. I screamed in uncontrollable terror, and I stomped on the old webcam on the floor. The door shook, and the doorknob tried to turn, but I didn't hear Amy's voice at the door. Was the basement door made to keep out drafts too? To keep out drafts too thick? Or was Amy not outside? What could I have been trying to get in if not her? What the hell is out there? I saw on my computer through the camera outside, and I heard her on the speakers through the camera outside. But was it real? How can I know? She's gone now. I screamed and shouted for help, and I piled up everything in my apartment against the front door. Friday. At least I think it's Friday. I broke everything electronic and I smashed my computer to pieces. Every single thing on there could have been accessed by network access or worse, altered. I'm a programmer, I know. Every little piece of information I gave out since it started, my name, my email, my location, none of it came from the outside until I gave it out. I've been going over and over what I wrote and I've been pacing back and forth, alternating between stark terror and overpowering disbelief. Sometimes I'm absolutely certain that phantom entity is dead set on the simple goal of getting me to go outside. Back at the beginning with the phone call from Amy, she was effectively asking me to open the door and go outside. I kept running through my head. One point of view says I've acted like a madman and all this is extreme controversial probability, never going outside at the right time by pure luck, and never seeing another person by pure chance, getting a random nonsense email from some computer virus at just the right time, and the point of the view says the extreme convergent probability is the reason that whatever's out there has gone to me already. I keep thinking, I never opened the window to the third floor, and I never opened the front door until that incredibly stupid stunt with a hidden camera, after which I ran to my room and slammed the door. I haven't opened my own solid door since I flung open the front door to the building. Whatever's out there, if anything's out there, never made an appearance in the building before I opened the front door. Maybe the reason it wasn't in the building already was it was elsewhere getting everyone else, and then it waited. Until I betrayed my existence by trying to call Amy, a call which didn't work until it called me and asked me about my name. Terror literally overwhelms me every time I try to fit the pieces of this nightmare together. The email, short, cut off, was it from someone trying to get word out? Some friendly voice desperately trying to warn me before it came? Seeing with my own eyes, don't trust them, exactly what I've been so suspicious of. Could have been a masterful control of all things electronic, practicing its insidious deception to trick me into coming outside. Why can't it just get in? I knocked on the door and it must have had a solid presence. The door. The image of those doors in the upper hallway as guardian monoliths flashes back in my mind every time I trace the path of thoughts. If there's some phantom entity trying to get me to go outside, maybe I just can't get through the doors. I kept thinking back over all the books I've read and the movies I've seen, trying to generate some explanation for this. Doors have always been such an intense foci of human imagination. Always had seen awards or portals of special importance. Or perhaps the door is just too thick? I know that I couldn't bash through any doors in this building, let alone the heavy basement ones. Aside from that, the real question is, why doesn't it even want me? If it just wanted to kill me, it could have done any number of ways, including just waiting until I starved to death. What if it doesn't want to kill me? What if it has a far more horrific fate in store for me? God, what can I do to escape this nightmare? A knock on the door. I told people on the other side of the door I needed a minute to think and I'll come out. I really was just writing this down so I could figure out what to do. At least this time I heard their voices. My paranoia, and yes, I recognize that being paranoid, has me thinking of all sorts of ways that their voices could be faked electronically. There could be nothing but speakers outside simulating human voices. Did it really take them 3 days to come and talk to me? Amy's supposedly out there along with 2 policemen and a psychiatrist. Maybe it took them 3 days to think of what to say to me. The psychiatrist's claim could be pretty convincing. If I decided to think this has all been a crazy misunderstanding and not some entity trying to trick me to open the door. The psychiatrist had an older voice, authorian but still caring. I liked it. I'm desperate to see someone with my own eyes. He said I have something called psychosis, and I'm just one of the nationwide epidemic of thousands of people having breakdowns triggered by suggestive email that got through somehow, and I swear he said got through somehow. I think he means spread throughout the country inexplicably, but I'm incredibly suspicious that the entity slipped up and revealed something. Here said, I am part of the wave of the emergent behavior that a lot of other people are having the same problem with the same fears, even though we've never communicated. That neatly explains the strange email about eyes that I got. I didn't get the original triggering email. I got a descendant of it. My friend could have had broken down too and tried to warn everyone he knew against his paranoid fears. That's how the problem spread, the psychiatrist claims. I could have spread it too with my texts and instant messages online and everybody I know. One of those people might be melting down right now after being triggered by something I sent them. Something they might interpret any way that they want. Something like a text saying seen everyone's face lately. The psychiatrist told me that he didn't want to lose another one, that people like me are intelligent and that's our downfall. We draw connections so well that we draw them up when they shouldn't be there. He said it's easy to get caught up in the paranoia in our fast paced worlds, a constantly changing place where more and more of our interactions are simulated. I'd given him one thing. It's a great explanation. It neatly explains everything. It perfectly explains everything, in fact. I have every reason to shake off this nightmarish fear that something of this consciousness or being out there wants me in the open door so it can capture me in some horrible fate worse than death. Could have been foolish after hearing the explanation to stay here until I starved to death just to spite the entity that might have gone to everyone else. It would be foolish to think that after hearing that explanation I might be one of the last people left alive on the world, on an empty world, hiding in my secure basement door, splitting some unthinkable deceptive entity just refused to be captured. It's a perfect explanation for every single strange thing I've seen or heard, and I have perfect reason to tell every reason in the world to let all fears go and open the door. That's exactly why I'm not going to. How can I be sure? How can I know what's real and what's deception? All these damn things with their wires and their signals that originate from some unseen origin. They're not real. I can't be sure. Signals through a camera, faked videos, deception phone calls, emails, even the television lying broken on the floor. How can I possibly know it's real? It's just signals, waves, lights, the door. It's bashing on the door. It's trying to get in. What insane mechanical contrivance could it be used to stimulate the sound of men attacking the heavy door so well? At least I was finally able to see it with my own eyes. There's nothing left in here for it to deceive me with. I've ripped apart everything else. It can't deceive my eyes, can it? See with your own eyes, don't trust them. They. Wait, was that desperate message telling me to not to trust my eyes or warning me about my eyes too? Oh my god, what's the difference between a camera and my eyes? They're both turning light into electrical signals. They're the same. I can't be deceived. I have to be sure. I have to be sure. Date unknown. I calmly asked for a paper or pen day in and day out until it gave them to me. Not that it matters, but what am I going to do? Poke my eyes out? The bandages feel like a part of me now, and the pain is gone. I figured this would be one of my last chances to write legibly, as without my sight to correct mistakes, my hand will slowly forget the motions involved. This sort of self-indulgence, this writing, is a relic of another time because I'm certain left in the world is dead or something far worse. I sit past the padded wall day in and day out, and the entity brings me food or water. It masks itself as a kind nurse and an unsympathetic doctor. I think it knows that my hearing has sharpened considerably now that I live in darkness. It fakes conversations in the halls on the off chance I might overhear. One of the nurses talked about having a baby soon, and one of the doctors lost his wife in a car accident. None of it matters, none of it's real, and none of it gets to me, not like she does. The worst part that the part I almost can't handle. The thing comes to me masquerading as Amy. Its recreation is perfect. It sounds exactly like Amy and feels exactly like her. It even produces a reasonable facsimile of tears that makes me feel like it's on lifelike cheeks. When it first dragged me here, it told me the things I wanted to hear. It told me that she loved me and she'd always loved me, and that I just don't understand why I did this, that still could have loved a life together. If only I would stop insisting that I was being deceived. It wanted me to believe. No, it needed me to believe that she was real. I almost fell for it. I really did. I doubted myself for the longest time. And in the end, though, it was all too perfect and too flawless and too real. The false Amy used to come to every day and then every week and finally stopped coming altogether. But I don't think the entity will give up. I think the waiting game is just another one of its gambits. I'll resist it for the rest of my life if I have to. I don't know what's happening to the rest of the world, but I do know that this thing needs me to fall for its deceptions. That if it needs that, then maybe, just maybe, I am a thorn in its agenda. Maybe Amy's still alive out there somewhere, kept alive by only my will to resist the deceiver. I hold on to that hope, rocking back and forth in my cell to pass the time. I will never give in. I will never break. I am a hero. The doctor read the paper and the patient had scribbled on it. It was barely readable, written in the shaky script of one who could not see. He wanted to smile at the man's steady, fast resolve, a reminder of the human will to survive, but he knew that the patient was completely delusional. After all, a sane man would have never fallen for the deception long ago. The doctor wanted to smile. He wanted to whisper words of encouragement to the delusional man. He wanted to scream, but the nerve filaments wrapped around his head and into his eyes made him do otherwise. His body walked to his side like a puppet and told the patient once more that he was wrong and that nobody was trying to deceive him. Good lord, I almost fell asleep during that. Jesus Christ. Can you imagine though? That's some fucking like, I don't know. I know that's something, but it's really creepy. Anyways, that drained my fucking computer battery. Hope you enjoyed. If you're new to my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button, give a thumbs up, and hit the bell so you're invited to videos, which is daily. I love you guys, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.